Literal translation of this sentence is, the dog goes crazy in the pan. The English equivalent would be, that takes the cake. An example sentence would be, I can't believe it. The dog goes crazy in the pan. They sold ice cream in the middle of winter. To have tomatoes on one's eyes means to be blind to the obvious. For example, you have tomatoes on your eyes, the keys are right in front of you. I think my pig whistles is the English equivalent to I don't believe it. For example, you won the lottery, I think my pig whistles, I can't believe it. Literal translation, to set heaven and hell in motion. English equivalent, to move heaven and earth. For example, he really wanted that job, so he set heaven and hell in motion to impress the interviewers. Literal translation of this phrase to English would be, that's not my beer. The English equivalent is, that's not my concern. In an example sentence, it could look like this. Sorry, I can't help you with your car repair. That's not my beer. To have tomatoes on one's ears means to be deaf to what's going on. Let me give you an example. I told him the concert was canceled, but he acted like he had tomatoes on his ears and kept asking about the time. The bear dances there. Translates to, it's going to be a wild party. For example, they've invited a live band, hired a magician, and set up a buffet for the party. The bear dances there. Literal translation, to paint the devil on the wall. English equivalent, to have a pessimistic outlook. Example, she's always thinking the worst will happen. She can really paint the devil on the wall. To carry owls to Athens. The English equivalent would be, to carry coals to Newcastle. For example, bringing extra umbrellas to London is like carrying owls to Athens. To float on cloud 7. English equivalent, to be on cloud 9. Example, ever since she got that promotion, she's been floating on cloud 7. The chickens would laugh at that. This phrase means, that's a laughing matter. In a translated example sentence, it could look like this. His attempt at telling a joke was so bad that even the chickens would laugh at that. It's jacket like pants means it makes no difference. For example, whether we go by car or by train, it's jacket like pants. To leave the church in the village means to not exaggerate or overcomplicate things. Let's stick to the facts and not leave the church in the village. It's a cat's jump means that something is very close. For instance, the cafe is nearby, only a cat's jump from here. Literal translation of this German phrase is, this gets on my cookies. The meaning of this sentence is, this gets on my nerves. Example, his constant complaints about the weather really get on my cookies. Literal translation, not having all cups in the cupboard. English equivalent, not playing with a full deck. Example, he tried to fix the computer with a hammer. It's clear he doesn't have all his cups in the cupboard. The spice lies in brevity. This means brevity is the soul of wit. For example, in his speech he proved that the spice lies in brevity by keeping it concise and impactful. Where fox and hare say goodnight. English equivalent, in the middle of nowhere. Let's say, their cabin is so remote it's located where fox and hare say goodnight. It is sausage to me, means I don't care. Let's put this in a sentence. Whether we have pizza or pasta for dinner, it is sausage to me. The phrase, to tie a bear onto someone, is equivalent to the English phrase, to pull someone's leg. It's used when someone is fooled. Don't believe him. He's just trying to tie a bear onto you. Literal translation, to throw the gun into the grain. English equivalent, to throw in the towel. Example, after multiple failed attempts, he decided to throw the gun into the grain. To buy the cat in a sack. This phrase means to buy something sight unseen. Let's say, I ordered the product online, but it was like buying the cat in a sack. You can tell that to your grandma. English equivalent of this phrase is, you can't fool me with that story. Let's put it into a sentence. He claimed he saw a UFO, but you can tell that to your grandma. Keep your ears stiff is similar to hang in there. For example, exams are tough, but keep your ears stiff and you'll do fine. The German phrase, the dumbest farmers have the fattest potatoes, is similar to the English phrase, ignorance is bliss. Let's say, he's not the smartest, but he's lucky. The dumbest farmers have the fattest potatoes. Literal translation is, to want the yellow of the egg, it means, to want the best of everything. For example, She is very picky and always wants the yellow of the egg. Literal translation, to live behind the moon. English equivalent would be, to live in the backwoods, let's say. He has no clue about what is going on in the world. He lives behind the moon. To shake something out of the sleeve. You say this when you come up with something on the spot. For instance, I do not know the answer, but I can shake something out of my sleeve. You can take poison on that. Means that you can bet your life on it. Let me give you an example. When he says he will be on time, you can take poison on that because he is always punctual. Everything is in butter. You say this when everything is fine. For example, no worries, I prepared the presentation already. Everything is in butter.